The man almost walked past the forgotten laptop. It sat alone on a small wooden table near the window of a quiet coffee shop, bathed in warm morning sunlight while customers hurried in and out without noticing it. The owner had vanished only moments before, leaving behind something worth thousands of dollars. For a struggling single father who barely had enough money to pay next month's rent, selling that laptop could have solved every problem in his life, but instead of taking it, he reached for it with the intention of returning it. What happened after he opened the screen changed not only his life, but the lives of two people who had spent years believing they had lost each other forever. Before we begin, if you believe kindness always finds its way back and that second chances can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Ecoverse. Your support helps us continue bringing emotional stories that remind the world that hope still exists. Every weekday morning, Rowan Mercer followed the same routine. Before taking his 7-year-old daughter, Ivy, to school, they would stop at the neighborhood coffee shop where Rowan bought the cheapest black coffee on the menu while Ivy enjoyed a warm muffin that the owner secretly discounted every morning. Rowan never knew about the discount, and the owner never intended to tell him. Some acts of kindness asked for nothing in return. Life had become painfully simple after Rowan's wife passed away 4 years earlier from a sudden illness. Every sunrise began with preparing breakfast, packing lunches, helping Ivy braid her hair despite never learning properly, and rushing to construction jobs that barely paid enough to survive. Every evening ended with homework, dinner, bedtime stories, unpaid bills spread across the kitchen table, and silent promises to his late wife that he would keep their daughter smiling no matter how difficult tomorrow became. That particular Tuesday seemed no different. After dropping Ivy at school, Rowan returned to the coffee shop to collect the notebook he had accidentally left behind. As he reached his favorite corner table, he noticed the sleek silver laptop sitting untouched. He waited several minutes. Nobody came back. The waitress assumed someone would return shortly, but nearly 15 minutes passed. Concerned that someone dishonest might steal it, Rowan carefully lifted the computer and pressed the power button, hoping to identify the owner. The screen lit up, his breath stopped. The wallpaper showed 2 young college students laughing beneath an enormous oak tree during graduation week. One of them was Rowan himself, the other was a woman he had not seen in nearly 12 years, Celeste Arden. He stared at the smiling faces frozen in time. Back then they had dreamed together. Rowan studied engineering while Celeste pursued business management. They spent afternoons sharing sandwiches because neither could afford 2 meals. They promised each other that no matter where life led, they would never forget those days when dreams mattered more than money, but life had intervened. Rowan's father became seriously ill, forcing Rowan to abandon graduate school and work full-time. Celeste received an international scholarship and disappeared overseas. Neither wanted to hold the other back, neither truly said goodbye. The wallpaper remained untouched despite all those years. Before Rowan could process what he was seeing, a woman hurried into the cafe, breathing heavily, clearly searching every table. She looked confident, elegant, and successful, dressed in a tailored business suit that reflected years of determination. Yet beneath that composed appearance, Rowan instantly recognized the same warm eyes that once believed impossible dreams could come true. She found the empty table, then noticed Rowan holding the laptop. Relief washed across her face. Without speaking, Rowan carefully handed it back. She thanked him politely before glancing at the still-lit screen. Her eyes widened. She looked from the wallpaper to Rowan. Time seemed to stop. Neither expected fate to reunite them over something as ordinary as a forgotten laptop. Neither realized that morning would reshape everything they believed about the past. Celeste had become the CEO of Arden Dynamics, one of the country's fastest-growing technology companies. Newspapers praised her intelligence, business magazines admired her leadership, and employees respected the compassion she showed within her company. Yet behind every achievement existed a private loneliness. Success had filled her calendar. It had never filled her heart. Despite years passing, she never changed that wallpaper, not because she expected Rowan to return, but because it reminded her of the happiest version of herself. She invited Rowan to sit for just a few minutes before rushing to an important meeting. Those few minutes became nearly an hour. They spoke about life carefully at first. Rowan shared stories about Ivy. Celeste listened with genuine interest. When Rowan quietly mentioned losing his wife, sorrow crossed Celeste's face. She realized the years had been far heavier for him than she had imagined. Rowan asked about her family. She admitted she had never married. Building the company had become her entire world. The conversation carried no regret, only quiet honesty. Before leaving, Celeste asked one simple question: would Rowan allow her to buy him lunch someday? He smiled politely and agreed. Over the following weeks, lunch became a weekly tradition. Neither called them dates, they simply caught up on 12 missing years. Celeste met Ivy during one Saturday picnic in the city park. The little girl immediately liked her. Children often recognize genuine kindness before adults do. Celeste brought coloring books instead of expensive gifts. She listened instead of trying to impress. She laughed at Ivy's silly jokes until tears formed in her eyes. For Rowan, watching someone care so naturally for his daughter awakened feelings he had buried beneath responsibility for years before. Celeste, spending time with them revealed everything success had quietly stolen from her. She admired Rowan's strength. He admired her humility. Neither realized they were slowly healing old wounds together. Meanwhile, trouble surrounded Rowan. The apartment building where he rented received notice of demolition. Tenants had only 60 days to leave. Affordable housing had become almost impossible to find. Construction work slowed unexpectedly after several projects were cancelled. Bills multiplied, stress returned. Still, Rowan refused to mention any of it to Celeste. That he never wanted pity. One rainy afternoon, Celeste accidentally discovered the truth. She had stopped by Rowan's apartment carrying homemade soup. After hearing he had caught a cold, she found cardboard boxes already packed. The landlord explained everything before Rowan returned home. Only then did Celeste understand the quiet burden he had been carrying alone. That evening she drove home unable to stop thinking about him, not because he needed money, because he never asked for it. The following Monday, an opening appeared within Arden Dynamics for Facilities Operations Manager. The position required engineering knowledge, leadership, practical problem-solving, and honesty. Rowan possessed all four. Celeste insisted he apply like everyone else. No favors, no shortcuts. Independent interview panels evaluated every candidate. Weeks later Rowan received the job based entirely on merit. When he discovered Celeste had never influenced the hiring decision, his respect for her grew even deeper. Life slowly improved. The new salary allowed Rowan and Ivy to move into a safe neighborhood. Ivy transferred to a better school, for the first time in years. Rowan slept without wondering how he would pay the next month's bills, yet the greatest change had nothing to do with money. Hope had returned. Months passed. One afternoon Ivy participated in a school project titled, My Hero. Parents gathered inside the classroom while children presented handmade posters. Some chose firefighters, others selected astronauts, several picked famous athletes. When Ivy's turn arrived, she carried a poster decorated with family photographs. At the center stood Rowan, beside him stood Celeste. The little girl's voice trembled with innocent sincerity. She explained that heroes were people who never stopped showing kindness, even after life became difficult. She said her father taught her honesty. She said Miss Celeste taught her that successful people should still have gentle hearts. Many parents quietly wiped away tears. So did Celeste. Driving home afterward, she realized something. The family she thought she would never have had quietly entered her life without announcement, not through ambition, not through achievement, but through one forgotten laptop and one honest decision. Later that autumn, Rowan invited Celeste back to their old university campus. The enormous oak tree still stood exactly where it had years before. Leaves drifted gently through the afternoon sunlight. Students laughed nearby, unaware they were witnessing two people completing a story interrupted. More than a decade earlier, Rowan carried an old photo album. Inside rested faded college pictures, dreams, memories, promises. He showed Celeste the same graduation photograph that appeared on her laptop wallpaper. He smiled. She smiled back. Then Rowan reached into his jacket, not for an expensive ring, not for anything extravagant. Instead, he unfolded a handwritten letter. He explained that love had once brought them together, life had separated them, kindness had reunited them. He asked whether she would allow the future to become their greatest chapter instead of their past. Tears rolled down Celeste's cheeks before she nodded. Months later they married in a simple daytime garden ceremony surrounded by family, friends, co-workers, and the coffee shop owner whose quiet generosity had unknowingly started everything. No luxury ballroom. No celebrity guests, only laughter, sunlight, blooming flowers, and grateful hearts. The owner proudly displayed a framed photograph from the wedding beside the cafe. counter with a small handwritten note beneath it. Sometimes the most valuable thing left behind isn't a laptop. It's the chance to find someone you thought life had taken away forever. Customers often smiled while reading it. Few knew the real story. Years later, Ivy graduated from college beneath the very same oak tree where Rowan and Celeste had once shared impossible dreams. This time all three stood together for a new photograph, different faces, different season, the same love. The picture eventually became the new wallpaper on Celeste's laptop. The old college photograph wasn't deleted. It was simply moved into a folder called Where It All Began. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that honesty, kindness, and second chances still exist in this world, please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it with your loved ones, and subscribe to Ecoverse. Your support inspires us to keep sharing stories that bring hope to millions. Special request: before this story ends, please comment below. Kindness always comes back. We'd love to know where you're watching from and whether you believe one honest decision can change an entire life. Sometimes miracles don't arrive with loud celebrations, sometimes they wait quietly on a forgotten table inside an ordinary coffee shop, sometimes they begin with choosing integrity when nobody is watching, and sometimes, the greatest love stories are not about finding someone new. They are about discovering that the person fate always intended for you was never truly gone. They were simply waiting for the right moment, and the right act of kindness, to find their way home.